everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Powerful Stuff, your favorite one stop shop for connection to yourself and connection to others, all in literally less than 30 minutes. How powerful is that? And today's episode is when you're not sure what to do, invest in yourself. So if you're facing a big decision and you're like, where do I even begin? Start listening. You're literally in the perfect place. And I want to tell you guys before we start recording, I literally recorded, dare I say, such a magical episode to this yesterday. And I finished the recording and I downloaded the audio, and the audio was blank. I was like, no, my creation. Anyways, but you know what? I was like, the powerful stuff listeners, they deserve this episode. So here we are recording it, round two, pulling out even more juicy tidbits and things for you to marinate in as you make that big decision in your life. So I want to rewind it back to when you're not sure what to do, invest in yourself. I've had a lot of clients that are having big life decisions recently. Should they move jobs or switch industry? Should they stay or go in a serious relationship? And even Spencer and I are kind of thinking like, should we stay in Los Angeles? Should we move to San Francisco in the fall? And I decided, initially right now, like, we've just come off a 5-month trip where we were traveling. I was booking our Airbnbs every week, and we just finished booking all of our summer travel to visit our friends who have weddings in St. Louis, Sweden, New York, and Brazil. Shout out to our friends having weddings in these awesome places. But all that's to say, I was like, I'm in no position right now to decide if we're like moving cities. So we flagged it for September. But in the meantime, I told myself I'm going to make this next few months in LA best ever, because I also like to say, end something the way you want to start the next thing. So whether we decide to stay in LA or move to San Francisco, it's like investing in the fuck yes friends here, doing the things that I love here, doing my powerful stuff events that I love here, and then reassessing in September once I've given my decision fatigue time to resettle. And I've kind of rebuilt some of the self-trust and the grounding ways after, traveling for a bunch of time and just letting the dust settle, getting that clear water as the dust has settled at the bottom. So all of that's to say, what I mean by when you're not sure what to do, invest in yourself. Sometimes we can get so overwhelmed with like, what do I need to decide, or this finish line, or this is such a big decision and it's going to impact my life in so many inexplicable ways. And then we end up shutting down. We shut down, or we have analysis paralysis, or it just becomes too overwhelming for our inner child to process, and they shut down because they crave consistency. They crave, predictability. And so even if we know we're ready to shift, or there's like that little intuitive ping where we know it's time to grow, it's time to let something go, um, we we freeze. We freeze because the decision just seems too daunting for our inner child. So how do we get them to unfreeze and work with us as we start making little tiny decisions, low stakes decisions that are actually going to make us feel good, and say, okay, you know what? We don't need to decide about that right now, but first things first, we're going to make you feel like your best self ever. So investing in yourself might look like in the moment, taking a bath, going for a walk, going to the beach, to having a day out in nature. And on the like shorter to longer term scale, before you make that other decision, it might be doing something that's going to light you up. Like, okay, like I don't know if I want to stay in that relationship, but I also haven't been expressing my creative voice lately. So like maybe I'm going to start with taking a stand-up class, seeing how that feels when my creative spark comes back, when my creative light switches on. And I'm going to then, as I'm feeling fully expressed in this other area, have time to decide, like, does this make me feel good? Because sometimes we need to take the next tiny step, and then the next step after that, and then the next step after that. And that's how the path becomes clear. So if you're facing a daunting decision, you don't need to like be like, I need to decide today. Maybe put like, okay, I'm going to decide by July once I do these other things that I know are going to make me feel really good or really grounded. And then I'm going to assess, because as I call these other parts back to me, that's going to be more energy coming back to me. And it's going to be more self-trust of like, when my intuition speaks, I listen. When my intuition speaks, I listen. Even if it's for tiny things, like I just have a ping today to call my friend, then do it, because then it's also like building the self-trust. I call it going to the self-trust gym. My intuition speaks on this little thing, I act on this little thing. And as you build your self-trust with the little things, guess what? One day you're going to look back and the big thing is going to feel so clear, because your inner child knows that you've got them. You've shown them for weeks. You're consistently showing up for their pings. They know that you have their best interest at heart. And then that is going to be when that bigger decision feels easier to make. And I experienced this in 2019, 2020, when, I had kind of had a feeling that I wasn't cut out to be a beverage founder. It just wasn't my calling anymore. But I had a hard time letting go of the founder identity. And what about all my investors? What are they going to think? Or all the people who know me as a founder, all the people I'm dealing with and contractors in the beverage world. But I just started by investing in myself, by going to the Hoffman process, which I've talked on a lot here, where it's like a 1-week retreat to reparent your inner child. And then after that, I was doing existential kink, which I'll get to in a second as well. But that idea of like, what part of us like holds on to the things that bring us anxiety, because what part of us really like loves it. And, also like, all of that's to say, like, when I was starting to do those things and I was starting to feel more myself, and I was starting to also like, I was releasing my songs, like starting to play guitar again, really investing in friends and like time in nature. And then the time came when, I was in that trip, as you guys might have heard in past episodes, to Colorado to visit our beverage manufacturers. And I got like this incredibly sore throat. It's like my body, I was even more attuned to listening to like the intuitive hits, the bodily pings. But yeah, my throat was like so sore. I couldn't even speak. It was shutting down. And it was such a metaphor for like, it's time to let this go. And then my advisor actually helped give me the full permission to do that. And it was such a watershed moment. As soon as I made that decision and told my investors, like, it wasn't as scary as I thought it would be. They were all actually super supportive and gracious about it. And I realized I was the one putting so much pressure on myself and creating all the deepest fears of how it would play out. And of course, that week, as many of you might know, is the same week I met my now husband, Spencer. It was like when we finally close one door of something that's not meant for us, this other door is ready to be opened with all this energy of something that is meant for us. And so that was really, really, really powerful. And it's just a good reminder that it like happens in stages. And so I would say the first step is like picking out, what are the things I can do to invest in myself that don't necessarily feel connected directly to this decision, but just start to make me feel good. Like if you're also like, should I stay or leave at this job? It's like, are you doing things outside of your job that light you up, or exercising your creative passions? What's something that you can do to kind of invest in that, so you start to feel like you're recharging the power banks, that you're stepping into your most powerful self? That's step one. And then as I'm circling back to existential kink, Carolyn Elliott would say, do a deepest fear inventory. As I said before, our younger self can get so scared because they're not sure what lies beyond this decision. So write a deepest fear inventory of the things that all could go wrong if this decision goes wrong. Let the deepest fears speak, because as I've said before, they're often so much bigger in the back of our head than when we bring them out into the daylight and you're like, oh, you're just a cute little fear, but you're not that big. Oh, bless. So write down what all those deepest fears are, and then keep asking yourself as you write the deepest fear, and then what? And then what happens? And then what? Like, you're letting your inner child get it all out, no matter how ridiculous or like far-fetched it could seem. And then let's say like your deepest fear is that like you leave this job because you want to try something else, and then this other thing doesn't work out, and then people think you're a failure, and then you have to go live at home with your parents, and you and your parents drive each other crazy, and then you just feel so ashamed and so behind where all your friends are in life. And once you've gotten to the rock bottom of this deepest fear, then I want you to flip it on its head and be like, okay, if I was at the rock bottom, would I actually stay there? Would I actually stay kicked down? Or what if I could look back in 10 years and be like, that had to happen that way. That was literally the best decision ever. So once you get to the rock bottom, then go into a place of like deepest possibility. Deepest possibility is like, okay, the possibility is like, then I end up at my parents' house. I have this like crazy, you know, breakthrough of my patterns. I tried the thing and it actually gave me a spark to like uh, take my career path or this idea in this totally new direction. And then it ended up leading to my $1 billion idea or whatever it might be. But it's like, if you could, the you 10 years from now, or the you at 80 could look back at that rock bottom hypothetical moment and be like, oh my God, that had to be the best decision ever. Then go into the deepest possibility. And hopefully you'll see after that, that it's not so scary. And that actually, at any given time, we'll have our fear and our possibility that we can tune into. And it's just a matter of which one we put in the driver's seat. So if you notice fear has been steering the driver's seat, you can still acknowledge it, right? You don't have to get attached to it. You can acknowledge it and be like, okay, we're going to move you to the back seat. We're going to let the possibility drive. Okay. But I love you. Your fears are valid, but the possibility is going to drive. So it's not that the fears go away, but we just listen to them. And then we give loving, you guys know, I love loving counter argument. And then of course, after that, we got to take that first step of aligned action. And so with that first step of aligned action of investing in ourselves, then you can start to build back the reservoir of self-trust. And then you can kind of put that light, timeline on the horizon of like, I'm going to decide by July, or here are the other pieces of myself that I want to feel really good before I make the decision. And here are the pings that I'll be looking out for. And here are some of the other kind of questions that I want answered. Like if it's leaving your job, and trying a creative pursuit, what is the baseline number of money that I want in my savings account this year so that my inner child feels safe to do this. So maybe you write out what some of those other things are that will help you feel safe to make the decision. So first step, what do I need to do to invest in myself? Second step, deepest fear inventory. Third step, deepest possibilities. Fourth step, what are the other pieces that I need to figure out to feel safe to make the decision? Fifth step, actually doing those things to invest in yourself. And then sixth step, making that decision, deciding. And when we decide, that's also the other thing, is like when we decide, we can treat it like the best decision ever until proven otherwise. Like I was meant to make this decision, even if I need to pivot, it's giving me the data points that I need to grow, to be on my path, to trust that it had to happen this way, even if I end up, it's not even backtracking. If you end up switching your decision later on, it's like, okay, I have new data and I adjusted course. And how beautiful is that, guys? Okay. So we're going to go into a quick meditation that I love, that shout out Hoffman. We've done it probably before here, called the Quadrinity Check. And I just think it's a great meditation when you are feeling overwhelmed with a decision, to come back to your mind, to your body, to your spirit, because they always know what you need. And as you honor these different parts of yourself, your whole entire being starts to trust that you're actually listening to it, and it starts to reveal more and more information as it trusts you more and more. Just like if you think of a friend, they don't tell you their deepest, darkest secret, chances are, the first night you meet them. It's like an earned trust over time of seeing them regularly, that you both reveal different things to each other, and that's how trust is built. So when you do this meditation, and you can do it with me now and then do it more simply later, as you do it, you'll start to reveal more and more patterns data points and intuitive pings that you can act on. That makes the self-trust stronger. Okay, so with that, we're going to do it kind of quickly, quickly but slowly, thinking fast and slow, just so you can kind of get the hang of it and use it as your own daily check-in. So just taking a deep breath in. Exhale it out. Another deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. First, starting to bring awareness to your physical body. As you breathe, just noticing where it feels spacious, where it feels tense, what your physical body feels like today. Just looking at it with awareness. And then asking your physical body what it needs from you today. Is it a bath, a stretch, a workout, a massage? Trusting whatever it says it needs. letting it know you can do that, and then just acknowledging, thanking your physical body for how it's carried you, how it's shown up for you. Giving your physical body a squeeze and internally, silently saying, thank you, physical body. Moving your awareness to your thinking mind, your intellectual self, just noticing how your intellectual self feels right now. Is it burnt out? Is it inspired, energized? Just noticing with curiosity. And as you feel your focus on your brain, on your intellectual self, just asking it, what does it need from you to feel seen, heard, replenished today? Trusting whatever it says. And then just giving thanks to your intellectual self for all the decisions it's made in the past, its critical thinking, how it's gotten you here with your professional life, problem solving, and just saying silently, thank you, intellectual self. And then moving to your emotional self. Noticing how old your emotional self is today, this part of you that expresses your emotions, your intuition. If your emotional self feels older or younger than your current age, imagine growing them up or down to your current age, looking them in the eye, just asking them how they feel today. What is the word of how they feel? Is it angry, happy, sad, joyful, confused? And asking your emotional self what they need from you today or this week to feel expressed, to feel seen, to feel loved. Letting them know you can do that. And then thanking them, thanking your emotional self for all the times that their emotions have let you know what to heal, what to fix, what to release. And as you breathe in, imagine your physical, your emotional, and your intellectual self all working together in harmony, all feeling seen and heard to form your spiritual self in front of you. Your self that radiates deep, deep, deep self-trust and self-confidence. Your spiritual, timeless self who knows that everything is unfolding perfectly. Just looking at this timeless version of you, noticing their energy, their expression. And asking them for the perfect thing to do to invest in yourself this week. Letting them know that you can do that. And then asking them for a piece of wisdom as you make, steps and strides toward this decision. What is a piece of wisdom your spiritual self wants you to know? Feeling yourself receive that wisdom in every cell of your being, lighting you up to your deep, deep knowing, and just envisioning yourself taking the next step on a cloud, lighting it up with gold. The step after that, lighting it up with gold again. The step after that, lighting it up with gold again. Until the whole path is lit with gold. Feeling this trust in yourself, taking a deep breath in. When you're ready, exhale it out, let it go. And one more breath in. Exhale, opening your eyes, coming back into this space. And while you're focused, go ahead and write down what your physical self wants this week, your emotional self, and your intellectual self, and write down that wisdom from your spiritual self, because this is now your easy roadmap for those next things you can do to invest in yourself, in mind, in body, and spirit. And how beautiful is that to be able to have your body, your intellect, your emotional self tell you what they need. And as you honor these parts of yourself and get them feeling 100%, guess what? Your self-trust is only going to get stronger from there. And you can also practice low stakes decisions, this week too that help build your self-trust. Like if you're in a group setting and people are like, where should we go for dinner? You can use that as an opportunity to exercise your voice. Like, I want Thai food or whatever it might be, So using these other little low stakes moments to build that self-trust and to let your inner child, each time you make a decision, tell them it's okay. Like, you're safe here. Like, I got you. And this is how, when we don't know what to do, we invest in ourselves and the path becomes clear. And I'm so excited to see what you guys do this week for your own self-trust building exercises as you make this big decision. Remember, focus on making yourself feel joyful, safe, seen first. And also without speculating too much if there's other parties involved, like how they might react, what they might do. Literally just focus on what you can do for you, because that's the only thing you can control. And then as you're doing these things that build self-trust, you can put that light date on when you want to make a decision by, and what are the other pieces of information you need to get clear on, like financially, next steps, whatever it might be, to help you feel supported to make a decision so you don't feel, like you're making it from obligation or fear in any which way. Okay. I'm so excited, guys. These decisions are always crazy big inflection points. And you're going to look back at it one day and be like, oh my God, that was the best decision ever. I'm so fucking proud of myself. And I can't wait to hear all about it when that time comes. And hopefully I will see you guys, not this Friday, but next Friday for Best Morning Ever. I think it's June 13th. 7:30 in Venice Beach. And hopefully I'll see some of you there and watch this space. We're planning another Powerful Stuff Live with comedy and music. And of course, if you want to go deeper on your own powerful stuff, you can reach out to me for one-on-one coaching. My upgrade cohort is already well underway. Or if you want to bring this magic to your office, bring a little Powerful Stuff workshop to your office, hit me up for that as well. And I will see you next week for more powerful stuff. Hey, you. Thank you for coming on this powerful journey with me. I hope it was as powerful for you as it was for me. And if it was, it would mean the world to me if you rate, review, and subscribe to Powerful Stuff so I can keep bringing you the goods. We can keep going on this transformative journey together. And if there's powerful stuff that you want to share with me, with the Powerful Stuff community, tag us on Instagram at That's Powerful Stuff or the Meredith Baker. And I look forward to seeing you next week for more powerful